Here's a head scratcher for you. Mortgage rates are dipping. That should mean fireworks in the housing market, right? A parade of buyers, more competition, prices shooting up. That's how it's supposed to work, or at least how we've been taught it's supposed to work. But here's the kicker. This time, the housing market is playing by a different set of rules. Hi, I'm Jennifer Shannon. I'm a broker associate with the Crest Edge Group at Keller Williams. And today, we are diving into why the old economic assumptions aren't cutting it anymore. What's going on behind the curtain? Why aren't buyers jumping in when rates are dropping? So grab your notepad, we're digging in deep. So let's lay it out. The classic rule of thumb goes like this. Mortgage rates go down and home buying becomes cheaper. More people think, hey, maybe now's the time to get that 3-bedroom home. And we see a spike in home sales. Lower rates mean lower monthly payments. It's like when your favorite store runs a big sale. People rush in to grab what they can while it's cheap. And historically, that's exactly what happens. You can see it in the data. When the orange line, that's mortgage rates, drops, the blue shaded area, that's the purchase index, jumps. It's like a seesaw. But this time is different. Even with recent rate cuts, we're just not seeing the usual surge of buyers. So what's the deal? Why is the market shrugging its shoulders instead of cheering? Well, let's break it down. A big piece of the puzzle is what's known as the rate lock-in effect. Remember when mortgage rates were at record lows during the pandemic? Homeowners who locked in rates at 2 or 3% are not exactly eager to swap those out for today's higher rates. It's like being used to buying a coffee for $2 and suddenly being asked to pay $7. I guess that is kind of how it is now. Now, most people are thinking, thanks, but I'll pass. And that decision has consequences. With fewer homeowners willing to sell and move up to a new place, we're looking at tight inventory. Now, let's put some numbers to this. Right now, we've got about 909,000 active listings on the market. Compare that to August 2019, pre-pandemic, when there were over 1.2 million listings on the market. So that's a 26% drop, and that means a lot fewer options for buyers. But that's only one side of the coin. What about the buyers? You would think they would be chomping at the bit with rates lower than they were a few months ago, but not quite. Why? 2 words: economic uncertainty. Inflation is still hanging around like a bad guest who just won't leave, and people are nervous. They're looking at those mortgage rate cuts and wondering, okay, but what if they go back up? What if a recession hits? What if my job is not as secure as I thought? And they're not wrong. Buying a home is a huge commitment. And when everything from groceries to gas is more expensive, adding a mortgage into the mix feels like a big gamble. Now, let's layer in another factor: home prices. Even though mortgage rates have come down a bit, they're still far from the 2 and 3% lows we saw in 2020 and 2021. Meanwhile, home prices shot up during that period of low rates, and they've not exactly come crashing back down. So you've got a situation where homes are still pricey, and the cost to finance them just isn't as attractive as it used to be. And to get a sense of how this plays out, take a look at the National Association of Realtors Housing Affordability Index. Think of it as a weather report for housing. If the index is above 100, the typical family has more than enough income to qualify for a mortgage on a median priced home. So sunny skies. But then when it's below 100, that means it's tougher for families to afford homes. Storm clouds are brewing. And recently, that index has been flirting with stormy weather more often than not. So here we are. Lower mortgage rates aren't giving us the housing market boom we're used to seeing. Instead, we're in a place where cautious buyers, locked-in homeowners, and tight inventory are all pulling in different directions, creating a bit of a stalemate. You know, when we talk about affordability, it naturally gets us thinking about wages. And wages, well, they've been snoozing while everything else has been on a bit of a roller coaster ride. Home prices up, inflation up, but real wages, the ones adjusted for inflation, have kind of been, well, let's say, taking a nice long nap. Now, inflation has cooled a bit lately, but that doesn't mean that prices have gone back to where they were a few years ago, because they won't, because that would actually be deflation, and that's not good for the economy either. Goods, services, especially housing, they're still more expensive by a lot. And here's the kicker: those real wages haven't grown nearly enough to keep up. So even with mortgage rates ticking down a bit, it's just not quite enough for a lot of potential buyers to bridge that gap between what they earn and what they need to buy a home. It's a bit like being on a treadmill that's slowly speeding up, but you're running out of steam. You want to keep going, but making any real progress is tough. And that's how it feels for many would-be home buyers out there. So where does that leave us? Even with some cuts in mortgage rates, the affordability issue combined with wages that aren't keeping up, well, it means we're not seeing a flood of new buyers like some might expect. The market feels, well, a bit stuck, but stuck does not mean stopped. So for any of the market players, it just means it's time for a new game plan. Here's some good news if you're looking to buy. There are strategies to make this market work for you. For starters, look at homes that have been sitting on the market for a while. When a house has been hanging around for 30, 60, even 90 days, the sellers might be more open to negotiating. They're feeling that pressure and could be up for offers below asking, even covering some of those pesky closing costs you will have as a buyer. And then there are loan programs and seller concessions that can help with affordability. Some sellers, especially those needing to move fast, are offering to buy down mortgage rates or cover part of the closing costs. And let's not forget about FHA or VA loans. They are still solid options if you don't have a huge down payment ready. The key is to shop around, ask questions, and get connected with a lender in advance. Okay, sellers, your turn. If you're thinking about listing your home, here's the big takeaway. Be realistic about your price. It's easy to think, hey, my neighbor sold for top dollar last year, so why shouldn't I? But today's buyers are more cautious and the market's shifted. A well-priced home can still sell quickly, but if you overprice it, your listing just will sit there like the last cookie in the cookie jar that no one wants to touch. So what's the practical takeaway? It means getting a real grip on the current economic climate. Buyers are nervous about inflation, interest rates, and economic stability. If they see a home is overpriced, they'll just wait or look somewhere else. But a well-priced home that stands out, well, that attracts those serious buyers who are ready to move, but only at the right price. And here's the crucial point for sellers. Don't go at it alone. Don't just hire any realtor who's going to snap a few photos and toss them on the MLS. In a market like this, you need someone who's got a strategic marketing plan, who knows how to reach the right buyers, and who can make your home look its absolute best. Because a good agent, like the ones you'll find in our group or the ones we partner with, they know it's their job to get your property in front of the largest pool of serious, ready-to-go buyers. All right, are you ready to wrap this up? Because we have covered a lot, and yeah, some of it's sounds a bit grim, but here's the silver lining. There are still great opportunities out there for both buyers and sellers. Buyers, remember the frenzy of the last few years, the bidding wars, waiving inspections, offering way over asking. It was like a crazy game show out there, but now with fewer buyers in the market, you've got room to breathe. You can negotiate. Take your time and actually find a home that's right for you. And sellers, don't forget about the bright side for you too. Sure, the market is not as hot as it was during the pandemic, but home values have still grown significantly over the last 4 to 5 years. Now, compared to 2018 or 2019, you are still looking at a solid return on your investment. It's all about keeping things in perspective. So what should we keep an eye on going forward? Well, the market's always changing. Mortgage rate cuts might not be having the instant dramatic impact they once did, but that doesn't mean things won't shift in months ahead. History actually shows home sales have gone up after the 8 of the last 8 presidential elections, and that existing home prices went up after 7 of the last 8 presidential elections. So keep an eye on key indicators like inflation, employment numbers, and signals from the Fed. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. What's your take on the market right now? Are you jumping in to buy, thinking about selling, or just holding steady? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm all ears, and let's keep the conversation rolling. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you stay in the loop for future updates. But before we wrap things up, there's something important I want to touch on. Navigating the real estate market, whether you're buying or selling, isn't about timing the market perfectly because, frankly, that's almost impossible. It is about having the right guide on your side. That's why working with a knowledgeable real estate agent, someone who really understands the local market trends and can negotiate with finesse, is an absolute key in this market. And here's where my team and I come in. We are plugged into an international network of top-performing real estate agents. And within this network, we go the extra mile to verify production, and vet agents. We make sure you are paired with someone who's a true pro, whether you're looking to buy a charming condo in Seattle or selling a spacious estate in Dallas or even investing in property overseas. We can connect you to an agent who knows their stuff, has local expertise, and is genuinely committed to helping you reach your real estate goals. So if you're ready to move forward and want to ensure you're in good hands, head over to topagent.thecrestedgegroup.com, fill out that form. This way we know how to reach you. We'll follow up with a Zoom meeting to dive deeper into your goals, expectations, and timeline. That way we can match you with the best agent for you. Not just any agent, but someone who truly aligns with your needs. Remember, buying or selling a home is one of the biggest financial moves most people will ever make. Having the right support can make a world of difference. So don't go at it alone. Reach out and let us help you connect with the best in the business. All right, that is a wrap for this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.